everybody, welcome back to the Dice Tower. My name is Z Garcia.
I'm Roy Kennedy.
I'm Joe Evans.
Today we're going to be taking a look at the final release for Unmatched ever. Marvel Unmatched, that is. Calm down, there's more coming, don't you worry. So this is it. This is the one that wraps up the Marvel sets for Unmatched. This has 3 heavy hitters in it, character-wise anyway. We've got Spider-Man, She-Hulk, and Doctor Strange. I'm going to be showing you how these characters operate. Just give you a quick look at the tokens that go on the board so you see what they look like, and then the characters themselves. I'm not going to be explaining the game because at this point, you know how it works. So let's go ahead and do that first. We'll come on back and we'll compare this to some of the other ones and we'll tell you our thoughts on it. So let's do it. So let's start by taking a look at the battlefield items. We have 3 of these combat items over here. Dragon Fang, Black's Law Dictionary, and Axe of Angarumus, I guess. And they are going to, of course, be sitting out in these spots. You can add them on to a combat or a defense as long as you play a card. So 2 1s and a 2, you can put them on either side. They behave the same way. And then, of course, the more interesting ones normally would be these that you can treat as schemes. And if you're there in the spot it's matching, it's attached to, rather, you can trigger that. And we've got here this one. They're a little more complicated, as you see. But they're easy to understand. This one, Daily Bugle, draw 3 cards and put a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. We've got this one over here, play a scheme from your deck as a free action. That's huge. And then, because it lets you go get it. And then this one, the Astral Ring, move each fighter up to 1 space. Each fighter meaning every fighter. So also very nice manipulation. And then the characters themselves. So we've got over here She-Hulk. And She-Hulk's thing here is just to throw something. She's got 20 health, which is enormous. And then her ability here, their innate ability, is that at the start of your turn, you can discard a card from your hand, and you are going to deal damage to a fighter in your zone equal to the boost value of that card. If you've got this, you can chuck it, 2 hits on that player. No defense, nothing, just 2 hits. So let's go ahead and take a look at the cards and what they do. So we've got Sensational over here. After combat, if you want, you may choose a card in your discard pile and shuffle it into your deck. I love recursion abilities like this. So you're going to be able to play some of her better cards more than once. We've got Omega Level Threat here. After combat, if you dealt 2 or more damage, your opponent discards 2 random cards. Very nasty. We've got the Savage She-Hulk. During combat, you may spend an additional action to make this card's value 9 instead. So if you begin next to your opponent and you attack them, you can just say, my second action is also going into this. Bam, 9 hits. Amazing card, and always something to be aware she has if her first action is to attack you, because it might be this card here. Then we've got over here some schemes. This one, play She-Hulk in a starting space, draw 1 card, gain 1 action. You'll see several of the cards in this box reference starting spaces. So put her in a starting space, draw a card, gain an action. I am assuming, and this is, again, something that wasn't super clear to me, but I'm going to assume that when they reference a starting space, they mean any of the currently active starting spaces. So if it's a 2-player game, then only starting space 1 and starting space 2 would be valid choices for that. I couldn't say, okay, starting space 4 is a starting space, but it wasn't for this game. So that's a little bit of a question there. But again, I'm playing it as though it is one of the actual starting spaces for this game. We've got Leap Forward here, very good. Move her up to 4 spaces. She can go through opponents. And then if she's adjacent to an opposing fighter, gain an action. That'll let you get up in someone's face and then hit him with that nasty 9 if you wanted to. This one, draw 2 cards and recover 2 health, which is unbelievable considering she's got a total of 20 and getting 2 cards. And then we've got some other ones here. Cease and Desist cancels all the effects on your opponent immediately, so kind of like a feint, but also during combat, if you're attacking, this is a 4 instead of a 1. Very powerful. And then a couple of defense cards. This one here, draw cards equal to the amount of combat damage you took. You definitely want to be in cards so you can throw something. And then lastly, Lady Justice. During combat, discard the top card of your opponent's deck. Increase the value of this card by twice that card's boost value. So pretty random, but that could end up being a very nice, say, 4 defense, 6 defense maybe. Very, very strong card. and that is She-Hulk. So let's go ahead and take a look at Spider-Man now. Spider-Man has probably one of the weirder poses, I think, in the game. He is shooting a web, but down, and so he's like supported on the web. It's a very strange miniature. I get it, he's leaping, and they have to attach him to the ground somehow, but just kind of strange looking to me. He's going to rest like that. He looks like he's dancing. And then his cards. His ability here is very interesting. He has 15 health, move of 3, by the way, on him. And the ability is, whenever your opponent attacks you, they have to tell you, before you play a defense card, they have to tell you the value printed on their card. They cannot lie, but they're only telling you the value printed. So, if you're playing against She-Hulk, and she says 3, you know, hopefully, that the 3 is the one that could possibly turn into a 9. You could be prepared for that. If she says 4 or 5, you know it can't possibly be that card. So playing Spider-Man is going to take a little learning your opponent's deck so that you can easily predict what that card might be. Very, very interesting, with a bit of a learning curve to get good at it. A few cards for Spider-Man. We got the web shooters. Spider-Man cannot take more than 2 combat damage this combat. And again, you'll hear what it is before you play this. So if your opponent says 6, you could be like, okay, well, I'm going to take at most 2. I would take 3, but I'm going to take at most 2, even if they throw combat tricks at me afterwards. Unless, of course, they're canceling this or whatever, canceling your ability. And then there's a few other things that will make use of him knowing what the number is. Like this one. After combat, if the value of your opponent's card is 4 or higher, draw 2 cards. And you will know that, possibly, when you defend. This one, if the value of your opponent's card is 4 or higher, deal 2 damage to the opposing fighter. We've got here just a straight-up attack, swinging kick. After combat, move the opposing fighter a number of spaces equal to the amount of combat damage dealt. So if you hit him for 3, you can push him 3 spaces away. Very useful to get somebody out of your face. And with that move 3, you can definitely catch up to them. Then a couple of schemes here. This one with great power. All of Spider-Man's attacks this turn are +1. Draw a card, gain an action. Very nice. And then Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, recover 3 health, and you can place Spider-Man in any space in his zone. So he can move a little bit. He could be over here in this purple area. Whoop, jump way over here. And he has 3 health on top of that. So there you go. That is Spider-Man with that ability that, like I said, has a bit of a learning curve. But once you know your opponent's deck, you can do some serious mitigation, some serious damage. And then lastly, we've got Doctor Strange, who's got a little bit of a tricky ability here. 14 health. He does have a sidekick with Wong. And we've got here, after each combat, if Doctor Strange played a card, so defends or attack, you may deal 1 damage to Doctor Strange. If you do, you put that card you played on the bottom of your deck, and you draw 1. So you will not be decked out. If you are going up against a character who is burning through their deck quickly, you should be able to outpace them as long as you don't get hit too hard. And it keeps you in cards, which is very, very nice. You're very much using your life as a resource. And then a few cards to take a look at here. With some wild names, of course, because it's Doctor Strange. After combat, if you won the combat, your fighter and each friendly fighter adjacent to them recover health equal to the damage dealt. Here's another one for health. No, I'm sorry, but there is another one in here that will heal you. Cloak of Levitation. During combat, if Doctor Strange is adjacent to the opposing fighter, ignore the value of the opponent's card. Very, very nice. Here we go. Your opponent places Doctor Strange in a starting space. Place the opposing fighter in another starting space. All players shuffle their decks. So again, I'm assuming this means active starting spaces. Here we've got, during combat, you may blind boost this card just from the top of your deck, and if you won, you gain an action. Very nice. Here we go. If the value of this card, this is a very interesting card. If the value of this card is above 7, ignore its value. It's at 3 right now. But during combat, you may blind boost this card up to 2 times. So you draw a card from the deck, and let's say, here's Doctor Strange's deck of cards here. I play this, and then I'm going to blind boost. That's a 2. I'm at 5. Do I blind boost again or not? Sure. That's a 1. I'm at 6. I'm good. If it had been a 3, I would have gone above 7, and it would have been a 0. So very interesting. Could be incredibly powerful, but there are going to be some 3s in here. So you need to be very careful with that. I like that quite a bit. Couple more. the Eye of Agamotto here. Shuffle your hand into your deck, draw 5 cards, gain an action. Tremendous card to get you back into the fight. And then this one's about healing. That's the one I was talking about. Reveal a card from your hand and put it on top of your deck. Doctor Strange or a friendly fighter adjacent to him recovers health equal to the card's boost value, which again could be 1, 2, 3, what have you. So there you go. That is Doctor Strange. The main thing, of course, something you can't see in just me showing you the cards is this ability here. Every time he can just save a card, put it on the bottom, the deck doesn't decrease, but more importantly than that, he draws a new card and takes a hit to his life. Yes, but it's keeping you in cards. So there you go. That is what you're getting in this box. Let's go ahead and go back up top. All right, there we go. So that is Brains and Brawn. Both. Yes. You got both in this box.
Yep. Smarts and the Strength.
That's it. That was the original title, Smarts and the Strength.
There you go.
But they were like, no, it sounds kind of dumb.
I agree. It needs to alliterate more.
It needs to alliterate. That's what it is. All right, guys, so what do we think? This is a nice way to wrap up the line, I would say, and I think they are closing out with a bang.
Oh, for sure.
I agree. Yeah, they bring their heavy hitters out with this. Every one of these characters feels different.
Mm-hmm. When I saw this, I was just like, oh my goodness, like this is like I love She-Hulk, but if it was like the Hulk or whatever, it'd be the biggest box ever. But it's also like the fact that Spider-Man and Doctor Strange and She-Hulk.
I mean, Spider-Man alone is like
Spider-Man alone is huge. Right. And I feel like Doctor Strange has kind of come into his own with the fact that his movies have been such a big successes as well. So it's like, holy smokes, these are great.
I mean, we still didn't get some iconic characters, especially, again, if you follow the movies. We didn't get Iron Man. We didn't get Captain America, those being the 2 big ones.
Yep, I agree.
But the last 2 sets have had a lot of heavy hitters, and Spider-Man being the best character, best known, most popular character from Marvel, being the last box here, I think is a fitting conclusion, like I said. But of course, the characters are only going to take you so far. We need to discuss the mechanisms in this game. What do we think of these as playable decks of cards?
Right.
I like it. I think it's one of the better boxes for the Marvel line.
I agree, and I think what impresses me is every box, because they have so many things out there, they do something unique. Like in this one, Spider-Man Spidey sense, as far as being able to find out what that number is before it's flipped. Man, that's nice.
It's especially nice.
So good.
If you know your opponent's deck.
If you're against She-Hulk.
I mean, if you know who you're playing against, you know what card they're playing, you know they only have one of that number, you know exactly what it is, and you can be like, oh, well, maybe I should defend high, or maybe I should feint, because I know the ability on that card will wreck me, that sort of thing.
It is very, very interesting. It has that learning curve, like you said, of knowing your opponent's cards. But yes, absolutely. Playing Spider-Man a lot, I can see somebody's go-to being Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And if you know the metagame, seems wrong to use here, but if you know the game, if you know the character's decks, if you know what's in your opponent's pack of cards, it's going to be tricky to play against Spider-Man.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, you're not always going to have the right card in your hand, but you get to hear that number, make some deductions, kind of figure out what they might be throwing at you. You might know exactly what it is.
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And I mean, even if you don't know the deck, at least like if they're playing like a low attack card, unless it has like weird tricks to it, you're hopefully not going to be wasting your high defense cards on lower stuff. So it just helps you be more efficient in your card play.
On the flip side of that, you've got She-Hulk, who is just a beast. Kind of just throwing stuff at you. I really like that ability. It's a game ender, man. It's a closer.
Oh, for sure. And the fact that like she has so much hit points off the bat.
20 life is insane.
20 life and then multiple cards that like heal her, and keep her hand full. Like the one card that I played, it like draws you 2 cards and heals you 2. And like it's just amazing, you know?
Yeah, it's insane. She is a heavy hitter. She's a really fun character to play. It's an easy deck to pilot for the most part. You kind of you run up on somebody's face and you hit them. I mean,
and that's actually, I haven't used the word OP on anything. Like T-Rex even is big. I think he's beatable, but
I have beaten him. So.
Have you? She's as close as you can
Z was
get.
playing the T-Rex.
Because She-Hulk can literally run up, and you imagine it because she's holding that column, right? There's that one that she can run 4 spaces, then gain an action. You can run 4 and then do 9 damage. And if they don't faint, I mean, that game's mostly over.
Right.
You know, I mean, they block with a 2. I mean, that's going to practically kill. I mean, she killed a sidekick in 1 hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
for
know,
sure.
and then just move on. And that's the most Hulk thing you can do.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
You know?
I agree.
Yeah, she's brutal.
I enjoy Doctor Strange as well. I mean, we haven't talked about him as much, but he has that card draw engine of the fact of like whenever he's playing cards, you can just always continue to draw back up. You do take damage. I know some people don't like taking damage in games to draw cards or things like that, but I think it like your life is a resource as well. You might as well utilize it, make sure your hand stays full. And he has just those cool like magic spell tricks, you know, different things that he's gonna have. He's gonna have a lot of those different powers that he's gonna be able to trigger and things like that. So.
He's the only one who comes with a sidekick as well.
The Sorcerer Supreme himself is his sidekick, which is crazy.
Kind of. I mean,
Wong,
it
the Sorcerer
depends.
Supreme. It's not Doctor Strange, it's Wong.
I think it's the good Doctor Strange, but you know, Wong. If you want to think of him as a Sorcerer Supreme, you go ahead.
Pretty sure Wong is the most important person in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe.
They should have put him on the cover.
I don't understand why not. Come on, Restoration. Wong Unmatched. Wong and Wong.
There you go.
Two Wongs don't make a right.
I will.
Sorry,
I will
I'm
say, for me personally, I thought Doctor Strange was the least fun to play. He does have that card engine, you know, where you're drawing
liked him a
cards.
lot.
I thought he was definitely the least, not even interesting, just the least fun to pilot. I think
He's nuanced, you know. You're
He is a
gonna
lot more
have to be
nuanced.
nuanced. You're gonna have to be careful with your life because you're spending it to draw cards.
Yeah.
But you have to just like be smart about how you play him. The other characters are just like, let's go smash stuff. you
That's
know?
true. That's true. If you are someone who wants that nuanced play, you want to live on that razor's edge of when do I take a hit to draw a card and save a
Right.
card? When do I not? Did I overdo it? Am I now close to dying because I did this to myself?
Right. Yeah.
That's really interesting. And again, it posits those big questions which fits this character. But I found the other two just out and out more bombastic and fun. But all three are interesting, distinct.
Unique.
They swung for the fences on this one. So
Yeah.
I really do like it. Anything else we want to talk about here? Kind of, this is a celebration of the whole Marvel Unmatched line a little bit.
All of the Marvel ones have those tokens that are on the board, and one of
Yes.
the tokens that I saw that was really good in this set is the one where you can literally go through your deck and get an event card and play it and get another action. or
Yeah,
whatever.
you just play a scheme,
just
go
any out of your
find it and
deck.
play it.
That's great.
That's
and I mean,
pretty
it has
cool.
one that gives you card draw, and of course all the different ones that give you bonuses. But I've loved that in all the Marvel sets is all the little tokens around on the
I
board.
like mixing those around. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can mix them and
Yep.
match. Yeah, you can throw them all in one big bag and shake that up if you have all the Marvel sets
Yeah,
and pull out
that's what I
whatever
like.
comes out.
Yeah,
that's
good.
fun.
That's the
With
way
the
to do it.
jetpack, maybe you get whatever. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so this is a good way to wrap up the line, I have to say. I'm going to go ahead and go first. We just reviewed the penultimate set here in the line just last week it was.
Yeah.
And that is for King and Country, by the
Yep.
way. And that's my favorite
Right.
of the entire Marvel Unmatched set. I thought that one did really interesting, fantastical things. I thought the tokens were really fun, those tokens that go on the board. And they were straightforward, too. These are a little trickier, but those were very straightforward, fun. Those characters were interesting, engaging. This one comes in just below that for me. That said, I gave a 9 out of 10 to. This, I'm going to come in at an 8.5. Just a little below that. But I absolutely would recommend it. If you are enjoying Unmatched and the Marvel set specifically at all, you got to jump on this one. This is one of the better ones in the line, I would say. You're going to get tremendously recognizable and fun characters, and the mixing and matching with these folks is going to be fantastic. So, strong recommendation from me, 8.5. What do you got?
This is my favorite out of it. you
Really?
know, And I was 8.5 on King Country, and I love that one too. I love that a lot. Probably I liked all three characters more. Doctor Strange is my third on this one. But this one, I'll tell you what, She-Hulk, her uppercut, whatever that is, do 9. I remember going through it twice and missing each time because of a feint. Then you get that card, you get to put it back in, and your opponent knows when you get to get one card, put it back in your deck. I think you said, wonder what that is. I'm just ready.
yeah.
I'm ready for that moment. You know, and those are the moments you like in games. She-Hulk has them, and Spider-Man, when you can deduce what they're kind of pulling forward. Those are great. So I am giving this a 9. I love this, and I can see those two characters. I can see them. Taking them out and just going after everybody in the Unmatched universe.
Yeah.
Whether it's Marvel, whether it's historical, whatever. I want to see how those two guys match up, and I want to put up She-Hulk against a T-Rex. I want to see that. Let's go at it. Let's do this.
That would be fun.
That's awesome.
I want to see the movie about that too. You listen to Marvel?
That's going to be good.
Right?
Yeah.
For me, I gave King and Country a 9. I'm also giving this one a 9. I just love the Marvel sets. I love Unmatched. I think this is super enjoyable. I actually love all 3 characters. I really like She-Hulk. I really love Spider-Man. And I like the nuance of Doctor Strange. I basically, every single time I said I love any character with card draw. And Doctor Strange has that and the cool, quirky abilities that he has with all of his different spells. Is a lot of fun to play and figure out how to position yourself to make those things work properly. I had a blast with this. So this is great. I mean, if you're going to get any of the sets, for me, I would probably personally get this one first, and then probably King and Country, and then going further down to like some of the older sets.
Right.
But yeah, I really enjoyed Brains and Brawn, and I think it's a blast to play.
Yeah. I think for me, it's going to be King and Country, Brains and Brawn, and then Redemption Row.
Ooh. Yeah.
Okay.
I like that one a lot too.
Redemption Row has Luke Cage. It has Moon Knight, right?
I like that.
And Johnny Blaze. What's his name?
Ghost Rider?
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic set. Fantastic set. And then
Hell's Kitchen was the other one.
Hell's Kitchen after below that, and then Teen Spirit would be the last one for me, which is still good, but it is the last one. But you're right, the last 2 are fantastic.
You're just forgetting Deadpool, aren't you? You're just like, he's off.
That's Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, Hell's Kitchen. Yeah, he's in there.
That's Deadpool, Elektra, and Bullseye.
Bullseye, baby. You can't forget Bullseye.
Those are all
Was Deadpool standalone?
No. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, yeah.
Oh, you mean Deadpool. I was thinking Daredevil.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Deadpool's alone. Daredevil.
Yeah, Daredevil.
I am forgetting Deadpool, yes.
I figured you would be. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that one's
A throwaway.
weird. It's kind of weird.
It is funky. Also, if you're playing against someone named Logan, you're going to wreck them.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, the last 2 sets in this, which
So
are
good.
wrapping up the line, have been tremendous
So
1-2 punch. Kudos to Unmatched for bringing it home in such a fantastic way.
I agree.
And this is getting a seal of excellence from all 3 of us. So there you go, folks. That's going to do it for Marvel Unmatched, Brains and Brawn. Thanks for checking this one out with us. My name is Z Garcia.
I'm Roy Kennedy.
I'm Joy Evans.
Watch out for getting webbed in the face or trickery from the good doctor.
And the uppercut.
Throw something.